As the sun gently slips behind the horizon and the sky embraces a deep indigo, release all the weight of the day with a profound, slow breath. Feel your mind quieting down as silence wraps around you with tender care. Now, softly close your eyes and drift with me deep into the forest, toward a magical realm far beneath our footprints. This is a silent and ancient world hidden in the very heart of the earth we walk upon, the mysterious kingdom of fungi. They are unlike anything we know. Though they anchor into the soil, they have no leaves. Though they wait in profound stillness, they breathe just as we do. Resting perfectly between flora and fauna, they are an entirely different kingdom, writing their own peaceful story. Long before the first mighty forests ever sprouted on Earth, they were softly breathing life into this planet. When night falls over the woods, some transform into fairy lanterns, glowing with a soft, ethereal light amidst the emerald moss. And in the unseen depths below, they weave invisible bonds with silky threads, stretching for miles, allowing the ancient trees to whisper to one another in a secret language. Let your mind rest in this soft, damp soil tonight. Let us listen to the gentle whispers of this hidden realm and slowly drift away into deep tranquility. If these peaceful journeys bring comfort to your soul, you may choose to join our quiet family. By doing so, you help other weary minds seeking tranquility to find this safe harbor. Now, before we fully immerse ourselves in this moment, softly, take a very deep breath with me. Feel the cool air filling you, and as you gently exhale, let every burden of today melt away from your shoulders and fade into the earth. Now, within this shared profound silence, let us drift toward the whispers of that strange and ancient realm. This hidden world reveals just how miraculously interconnected life truly is, woven with invisible threads. It gently reminds us that even the things that appear most ordinary conceal a breathtaking and deep reality just beneath the surface. When walking through a dimly lit forest after a gentle drizzle, spotting that capped elegance sprouting from the damp soil or a moss-covered old tree trunk, our minds often deceive us. We naturally assume they are simply quiet, innocent relatives of the green plants embracing the woods, their delicate roots reaching into the cool, dark earth, their silent stillness resting perfectly motionless in the breeze, much like a fragile spring flower or a newly sprouted sapling. This was the innocent lullaby they made us believe for thousands of years. For centuries, humanity softly assumed they were simply the quiet children belonging to the forest's green canopy. But as time drifted by and the deepest secrets of nature gently unveiled themselves, we learned that this ancient belief was merely a sweet illusion. They were never a part of that green realm reaching for the sun. In truth, they are as distant from those rustling leaves and mighty oaks as we are. This is the first great secret resting on the dark forest floor tonight. If they are not like the leaves dancing in the gentle wind, then who are these beings that bloom in the dark and the damp? The answer lies in a surprising whisper that softly caresses the mind. This mysterious kingdom, stretching silently beneath the soil, is actually much closer to us, to breathing, feeling beings. They are bound by an invisible kinship to the animal kingdom, far more than to the green woods above. When first whispered into the quiet night, it feels like a dream your mind softly tries to gently deny. How could a silent being so deeply anchored to the earth share a closer bond with a soaring bird or a creature running freely through the wild? The answer to this ancient question slumbers within their very essence, in the quiet, invisible breaths they take, and the astonishing, miraculous material that weaves their tiny cells together. This mysterious kingdom elegantly dances around the rigid rules of nature. They are patient, breathing entities merely wrapped in the gentle illusion of flora, a completely different form of life quietly disguised as a plant. Once this realization softly settles into your heart, a simple stroll along a dim forest path transforms from a mere walk into a mystical voyage. You no longer see just leaves and branches, but the quiet travelers of a profoundly different evolutionary journey, resting safely in the shadows. As the night deepens and the stars gently shift across the sky, we too will drift closer to the soft truths of this strange kinship. Together we will slowly discover why they mirror us so closely, how their quiet existence in the dark parts weighs with the green woods, and the wondrous secrets held safely within their tiny cells. This is a silent awakening that softly redefines the world we thought we knew, a revelation echoing in the quietest corners of the soul. How could a being so deeply anchored in the earth's embrace share a lineage with a soaring wing, or the silent traveler of the deep waters? The answer to this ancient riddle is held within every secret breath they take, and the most intimate fabric of their very cells. Let us first observe how this mysterious kingdom finds its nourishment at their quiet, hidden tables. The green canopy of the forest is made of proud producers, drinking the golden rays of the sun. With a miraculous touch upon their leaves, they transform that immense celestial fire into the sweet essence of life. They are complete and free within their own world. Yet fungi lack this radiant gift. Within their essence, there is no green, no magical chlorophyll that understands the language of the sun. Thus, they cannot catch the light. They cannot create energy from within. Much like us, they depend on the outside world, on a table already set for them. They are the silent seekers and the most faithful recyclers of nature. In the dark corners, they wait patiently upon fallen, weary leaves and aged logs whose time has passed. They release their powerful enzymes like an invisible chemical fire into the wood, breaking down the remnants of nature to softly absorb that hidden energy. This strategy pulls them away from the self-sufficient peace of the plant world and brings them much closer to our realm, the realm of those who seek, consume, and find life from the world around them. Let us now focus on the most naive and profound rhythm of life, the breath. The majestic green canopy of the forest acts as the vast lungs of the earth. The leaves gently inhale the air drifting from the sky and generously breathe back the fresh oxygen that gives us life. However, fungi stand on an entirely different shore of this sacred balance. Unlike the green world, they are in constant pursuit of an invisible breath, much like ourselves. To keep their internal fire of life burning, they draw oxygen from the air and quietly release carbon dioxide. In the deep silence of the forest, imagine that as you pass by a mushroom, you are actually passing by a breath very similar to your own. This is the most tangible whisper of how distant their essence is from plants and how close it is to us. Yet the most astonishing proof of this ancient kinship is hidden in the unseen depths, within the delicate walls that hold them upright. The tissue that gives trees their strong and fibrous trunks is a fabric unique to the world of plants. In contrast, the bodies of fungi are woven from a much more resilient and different element of nature, chitin. This durable armor separates them from the soft world of flora and makes them part of a profoundly different story. The word chitin might sound like a distant echo, yet it is one of nature's most ancient and protective fabrics. It resides in the sturdy shell of the crab, in the deep ocean, in the hidden strength of a butterfly's silky wings, and within the shimmering armor of a beetle. Pause for a moment now and let this miraculous connection unfold in your mind. The heart of that delicate soft mushroom you spot in the forest's dim light is woven from the very same chemical fabric as a creature's protective shield. This is the most beautiful proof of how elegantly nature mocks the narrow boundaries we try to draw. Life builds unexpected bridges, reaching far beyond the small, dusty boxes where we attempt to confine it. With this ancient knowledge, mushrooms are no longer mere ornaments of the woods. They are mysterious, silent hybrids suspended between the worlds of plants and animals, connecting two realms. They are the patient, lost cousins of the animal kingdom, disguised in a cloak of flora. These quiet beings whisper to us of how flexible and creative life truly is. Life never fits into the limits we set for it. It always finds its own path to freedom. Life always finds its own unique exception, a wondrous anomaly. And fungi are the most magnificent ambassadors of this rule-breaking on Earth. Yet the hidden secrets of this kingdom do not end with this unusual biology. For everything we have spoken of so far, those delicate capped structures you encounter on the damp forest floor is but a tiny fragment of a much vaster mystery. What we see is not the whole story. It is merely a silent clue reaching up to the surface. Now, let us follow this mysterious trail deep into the cool, dark, and damp layers of the earth, toward that secluded place where the true power and the real body of this kingdom slumber. The most breathtaking secret of fungi lies not only in their genetic roots, but in the very way they exist. When walking through a dim forest and noticing that elegant structure rising from the soil, your mind perceives it as a single, individual being. Yet this is one of nature's greatest and most enchanting illusions. That capped silhouette we see is not actually the fungus itself. It is merely the fruit of a much larger, much older, and almost entirely invisible giant, hidden beneath the earth. The most graceful way to understand this ancient bond is to imagine an apple tree. When we see a bright red apple hanging from a branch, we do not think of it as the tree itself. We know that the apple is merely a gift, carrying the tree's seeds and whispering its legacy to the future. The true body of the tree is found in the roots gripping the deep earth, the trunk reaching for the sky, and the branches swaying in the breeze. In the mysterious world of fungi, the story is exactly the same. That delicate capped structure you find upon the soil is, in truth, only an apple. The actual body of the fungus remains patiently hidden beneath our feet, within the cool, dark, and damp layers of the earth. We call this hidden body the mycelium. It is a vast network woven from countless fibers called hyphae, threads even finer and more delicate than silk. This silver web grows slowly in every direction through the silence of the soil, tenderly wrapping itself like lace around tree roots, weary leaves, and damp stones. Yet, this is no lifeless or passive web. It is a massive body that lives, breathes, feeds from the heart of the earth and feels everything it touches. This silver web within the heart of the earth quietly digests nutrients, absorbs water, and stores the energy of life in its depths. The elegant capped mushroom we find in the woods is merely a short-lived ambassador of this vast underground kingdom. When the moisture and warmth are just right, it is like a delicate flower, a fleeting messenger sent to the surface to whisper the seeds of life to the wind. Once its task is complete, it returns to the soil within days. Yet the true body, the mycelium, continues to live in the peace of the darkness for years, for centuries, and even for millennia. The scale of this network is as magnificent as it is beyond our imagination. Sometimes, the tissue beneath a single mushroom covers only a few steps. Yet, in some ancient species, this network becomes a colossal canopy that crosses valleys, embraces hills, and stretches across miles. This whispers a breathtaking truth. Those hundreds of small mushrooms you believe to be independent while walking through a forest actually belong to one and the same giant organism beneath the soil. They are like different fingers of a single, massive body rising from the earth. Once you know this ancient secret, the forest will never look the same again. Imagine that every step you take is not just on mud and roots, but that you are walking upon the heart of a single, colossal, and thousands of years old ancient being. This is one of the world's greatest mysteries, hidden silently right beneath our feet. The true essence of a fungus lies not within its ornate cap, but within the infinite, silent, and patient web stretching through the vast depths of the soil. It is the living nervous system of the forest, its circulatory network, and its ancient memory. But what does this massive, invisible silver web truly whisper? Does it merely content itself with feeding and growing, or does it hold much deeper, more vital duties that preserve the delicate balance of this planet? These silent architects shape the world with their very fingertips. How do they transform into wise guides that allow the forest to speak to one another? How do they become the invisible engineers, turning the perfect gears of the cycle of life? The answers to these questions will lead us into even more secluded corners of the fungal kingdom, on a peaceful journey toward the miraculous and vital role they play for our earth. The moment we realize the cool earth beneath our feet is woven, stitch by stitch, with that vast and living family called mycelium, everything we thought we knew about the forest begins to softly change. We can no longer view the woods as merely a collection of isolated trees, each struggling to survive on its own. For this hidden silvery web is not just a silent structure holding the soil together. It is a living, whispering, and active system that transforms an entire forest into a single, hand-in-hand, giant superorganism. The world of science has given this intricate and enchanting network a poetic name inspired by the communication systems of our modern world, the Wood Wide Web, the vast and wise information network of the forest. It is like an ancient internet stretching silently beneath the soil, allowing the trees to connect to one another from the heart. This is the invisible and wise internet of the forest, and fungi are both the silvery cables and the silent operators of this vast system. At the heart of this magical order lies a graceful friendship that has endured for billions of years between mycorrhizal fungi and the roots of mighty trees. This is not a relationship of theft. Rather, it is a poetic partnership built on mutual trust. With its threads finer than silk, the fungus drifts into the tiniest pores of the soil that tree roots could never reach. From there, it carefully gathers water and precious minerals like phosphorus, which are vital for the tree's life. Like a hidden pipeline, the fungus delivers these gathered riches directly to the tree's heart, its roots. In return, the tree shares the precious sugars and carbon it has filtered from the sunlight, offering them with the fungus like a gesture of gratitude. This is a fair and peaceful exchange happening every single moment in the deep silence of the woods. A quiet dance of life continuing within the darkness. The true magic of this silvery web lies in the fact that it is not limited to a silent bond between just two friends. A single mycorrhizal network can tightly connect dozens, even hundreds, of different trees with its invisible arms. This is not a structure that only reaches out to its own kind. It is a vast social world that brings a great oak together with a proud pine and a delicate birch with a majestic maple. It is at this very point that the forest's wise internet comes into play in all its glory. Through this silent network, trees do not merely share the nutrients offered by the soil, they also whisper their deepest secrets and vital information to one another. A whisper at one end of the forest reaches the other through the silky path of roots and fungi. The forest is no longer a place where each tree lives out its own destiny, but a wise community where everyone is aware of one another. For instance, a tree attacked by uninvited insects in a distant corner of the woods can whisper a silent distress signal, a chemical warning to its neighbors through this silvery web. Other trees, hearing this vital message through their roots, prepare their defense shields long before the danger ever reaches them. This network is not merely a communication channel, it is also a tender system of resource sharing. The oldest, most majestic giants of the forest, known as mother trees. They are the ones closest to the sky, drinking the most of the sun's golden light. These wise giants send their surplus life energy through this hidden network to the tiny saplings lingering in the shadows of the forest floor, yearning for light. This is an ancient form of familial support. The elders of the woods nourish and protect future generations through these invisible bonds. Even a mighty tree reaching the end of its days may entrust its final reserves of energy and accumulated nutrients to this network, leaving them as a legacy for its neighbors. Through this silent farewell, life sprouts anew in another form. This ancient discovery softly unravels all the harsh assumptions we held about nature. The forest is not a battlefield where only the strongest survive. On the contrary, it is a world of silent cooperation, where interconnected souls offer mutual support and profound compassion. In this magical order, fungi are not merely passive pathways, they are wise guides. They act as the traffic controllers of the forest's invisible justice, regulating where, when, and how much life energy should flow. This silent kingdom is not only the memory of the woods, it is also its collective intelligence and its tender conscience. Next time you wander through the deep serenity of a forest, remember that beneath every step lies a universe more complex than our modern networks, a living, breathing realm of peace. This is a world where great giants reach out to one another, where trees whisper secrets through their roots, and where all this magic is made possible by the silver webs woven by those humble fungi. Now, with the peace of this safe and interconnected world, let your mind drift away completely. Now, allow your mind to drift beyond time, back hundreds of millions, even a billion years, to that silent beginning when not a single shadow of a mighty tree, nor the color of a flower, nor even a blade of grass existed on earth. Imagine a desolate world where the oceans teemed with life, yet the land stretched out like a vast, naked, and rocky desert. In this immense stage where the sun scorched the earth and the wind whispered only to the stones, think of life's first, courageous step onto the shore. Those who took this first step were not, as often believed, green plants. Hundreds of millions of years before them, the first pioneers to explore this alien and barren landscape were the ancient members of the fungal kingdom. They undertook a monumental task, far different from the forest dwellers of today. They were the planet's first alchemists, its first gardeners. Clinging to the surfaces of bare, unyielding rocks, they began a work of inconceivable patience, transforming hard stone into the soft soil that would one day embrace life. This was not achieved through brute force. It was a slow, elegant, and subtle art of alchemy. These silent chemists patiently secreted special organic elixirs to dissolve the impenetrable armor of the rocks. For millions of years, with every raindrop and every changing season, they softened the hard hearts of the stones, molecule by molecule. This incredibly slow and peaceful process created the first thin veil upon which life could cling, the most primitive and pure form of soil. Without their centuries of patient labor, plants would have never found a home to take root when they finally emerged from the cool depths of the ocean. When plants finally took those first timid steps onto land, it was the fungi that awaited them with a ready ground and a tender embrace. These early guests did not possess the complex root systems of today's mighty trees. Thus, they struggled to draw the water of life from the bare earth. It was at that very moment that the deepest and most unshakable partnership in history was formed. The silky webs of the fungi wrapped around the delicate stems of these primitive plants, serving as a kind of external heart and assisting root. As the fungus offered water gathered from the depths, the plant shared the sweet energy filtered from the sun. This partnership was so perfect that even today, more than 90% of life on Earth still stands thanks to this ancient and silent bond. Fungi were the invisible and indispensable heroes of life's great triumph on land. Yet the landscape of this ancient world consisted of more than just those invisible, silky webs beneath the soil. Fossil records hidden within the rocks whisper of colossal structures that once rose above the earth, beings beyond our modern imagination. Around 400 million years ago, long before the shadows of mighty trees embraced the world, giant fungi known as prototaxites stretched proudly toward the sky. Reaching heights of up to 8 meters, these were massive pillars standing tall like the tree trunks of today. They were the most magnificent, the tallest living beings of that era. Imagine a fairy tale world where forests did not yet exist, and only tiny plants carpeted the ground like a rug. A world where these towering fungal spires defined the horizon. They were the silent giants of a treeless land, the most striking proof that our planet was once ruled by this mysterious kingdom. In the silence of the night, Feel yourself resting peacefully beneath the shadows of these ancient giants. This is why viewing fungi as merely a small part of the forest is like reading only the final page of a magnificent story. They are not just the silent inhabitants of this green world. They are its true architects, its first master builders. They were the brave pioneers who transformed this planet into a home where life could safely sprout. It was they who turned bare cold rocks into the soft, life-giving soil. They were the first to reach out their hands so that plants could take root on land, and once they rose toward the sky as the only giants of this desolate planet. Their ancient legacy of millions of years lies within the very foundation of every inch of earth we walk upon today, and in the deepest roots of every great forest where we take our deep breaths. Now, in the embrace of this rooted and secure past, let yourself drift into the tender arms of sleep. Now, as the whispers of this ancient kingdom echo in your mind, feel the deep and cool silence of the forest within your heart. Remember the vast, silvery web beneath your feet, tenderly embracing you and the entire earth, how everything is held so tightly by invisible bonds. None of us are alone. Each of us is a part of this immense, ancient and wise dance of life. Slowly, take a deep breath. Feel the air filling your lungs, feeling your oneness with nature, just like those silent fungi. As you exhale, notice the last fragments of thought in your mind merging with the earth, leaving you in eternal tranquility. Nature continues to protect and nourish you, even in your sleep. Like those tiny lanterns glowing in the dark, let peace shine within your soul. Sleep well and dream in stillness.